Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eleazar Hernandez. I am currently a senior at the University of North Texas. I plan on graduating this May with my bachelor's in applied arts and science. I'd like to thank you all for giving me the time to do this presentation to you all. Let's go ahead and get started. How many people in here like breakfast? All right, I see some hands. Now, how many people in here like pancakes? All right, I see a little bit more hands. Now, how many people in here pretty much know how to cook? Which is looks like it's the majority. Now, there's some of us, I guess, because I'm a college student. Moving out from my parents' house, it's beginning to become a little bit more realistic that I need to learn how to cook. One of the first things that I learned how to cook was pancakes. It's one of the most interesting things to cook for me, and it's also one of the most delicious. I never get tired of them. How many people in here like pancakes? All right, I see some hands. Now, with pancakes, it's not necessarily about just making the pancakes, but it's about the process. You follow a specific process. It's never going to be the same. You're never going to get pancakes that are the same. They're going to be just a little bit off. They're just like snowflakes. Each one's a little bit different. Um, Now, let's go ahead and get started before we get myself and everybody else hungry. Now, the first thing that we're looking at is going to be some of the tools needed some of the tools that we're going to need in order to make these pancakes. Now, first thing that we're going to need is probably a mixing bowl. You don't necessarily have to have a mixing bowl per se, but even like I've had some people use Tupperware just to mix everything in. Something small, something cylindrical works best. Even if it's square, that's okay. What you want is typically some sort of whip that you're going to be able to whip everything. Let's say we're going to be using an egg, so we're going to be able to whip that egg, kind of like beat it down. The next thing that we're going to need is a frying pan. Some people use they have the countertop frying pans that heat up and then you can pour them on there. Some people like doing it over the stove. I personally, being Mexican, we have what's called a comal, where we heat up tortillas. It's the same thing for me. I heat that up and then that's where I make my pancakes. And it doesn't even taste like them, but I mean, it's the perfect spot for me because I know exactly what temperature I need it at, everything like that. The next thing that we need is probably a few napkins, obviously plates, cups, everything like that for your milk, your orange juice, whatever you like. Um, and some of the main things, some just small things that we're gonna be adding along the line, but it's pretty much not really anything that you would not have at home. Pretty much everything like that. So go ahead and get started. Some of the ingredients that we're gonna use is something that really, really we should all have at home. The first thing being some eggs. Um, Depending on the portion, what we're gonna be doing today is gonna be portioned, but makes you about 3 or 4 pancakes for one person typically. It could be two. You eat two each. If you make them a little smaller, it'd be maybe get 5 out of there. But what we're gonna be doing today is typically it makes me 2 pancakes, but the proportion size is for 3 pancakes, 4 pancakes. I like making my pancakes really big, but we're gonna portion it down a little bit more just to get the feel for it. Besides the eggs, of course, we're gonna need some milk. We're gonna need butter. If you don't have butter, I know some people don't really like using the butter. They like using margarine. Um, Feel free to do so. As long as we're gonna melt each one down. So butter and margarine, just melt it down. Um, we're gonna be using some flour. What I like using is just Walmart's typical cooking flour. That's the one I use. It doesn't have to be any specific brand or anything like that. As long as it's just your white flour. We're gonna use a little bit of sugar, just a pinch of salt. Um, Now, what some people like to use is baking powder. I like using baking powder because it gives that pancake just a little bit more fluff. You don't necessarily need it in there, but it gives it just a little bit more fluff that makes it just a little bit more tastier to me. Um, Now, some of the things that people like to add onto there is the main thing would probably be chocolate chips. I know you've seen those like at IHOP, at Denny's. Chocolate chip pancakes. Those are favorite all around the nation. Another favorite would probably be blueberries. One thing my mom likes adding is raisins to her pancakes, which I'm not very fond of, but some people like it. Um, Different things like that. I've seen people use bacon. Of course, the bacon is already cooked. It's chopped up into really small pieces. It's mixed into the batter once we get to that point. But the bacon would already have to be cooked and chopped up into really small pieces. Um, Besides that, you can pretty much mix anything in there, anything that'll cook in there with it really good. Um, I've seen people put Pop Tarts in there. They crushed up the Pop Tart in really small pieces, filled Pop Tarts, and then just mix it in there. Like they like that taste of the Pop Tart and the pancake. Just really just anything that you like that. Alrighty. So now one of the first things that we're gonna do is we're gonna beat the egg. So get in your frying pan, you're gonna get an egg, crack it, put the egg in there. That's how you're gonna beat it. You're just gonna whip it, whip it, whip it till it's really, really fluffy. That's the very first step. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna add the milk and the butter together. So once you have the egg all fluffy, fluffed up, we're gonna add the milk in there. We're gonna add the butter. If you use margarine, you're gonna add the margarine. As long as it's melted, we're gonna put it in the microwave for 30 seconds just to get it all melted down. We're gonna put it in there. The next thing you're gonna do with the same concoction is you're gonna add all of your dry ingredients. So you're gonna add in your flour. You're gonna add in your salt, your baking powder if you use it, your sugar, everything like that. The next thing you want to do is you want to get your frying pan ready. So you're gonna put it over the stove. I typically do it at about 80 degrees, and just let it warm up gradually. It's gonna get hot, but I mean it's gonna warm up gradually. I don't like bringing it just over the flame immediately. I like getting it warm, getting to that point. I don't know why, it just works a lot better for me. Your frying pan, your comal, whatever you're gonna use, you make sure you get it heated up and warmed up. Now, the one way that I personally check, which is what I've seen a lot of people do, the way they check that the pan is ready to be cooked on, is you're gonna get some water. You're gonna get a little handful of water. You're gonna drop it on that pan, on your comal, whatever you're gonna use. You're gonna drop it on there. You're gonna see those little beads of water start jumping around, buzzing everywhere. They're jumping around, jumping everywhere. That's how you know it's ready. If you put it on there and it kind of just sits and then evaporates, it's not ready just yet. Leave it on a little bit more. Of course, if it just sits on there and it's not evaporating, then obviously it's not cold. You're still cold. You're not hot enough. So what you're looking for is for it to little beads just to fall and start buzzing around. The next thing you're gonna do is with the napkin that we got is you're gonna get some butter on that napkin and you're just gonna rub it all over the pan. Once it's hot, you're gonna rub it all over that pan just so that the pancakes won't stick on there, which is probably the best way. I know some people like using cooking spray. The cooking spray also works for me. I know they have like canola oil, different taste, different flavors like that, so that always works as well. Typically, that's what people are using now. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier just to buy the spray can and just spray it all over the pan. Same thing when you're cooking. The next thing you're gonna do, you're gonna pour a small amount of batter that you have all whipped up. You're gonna pour a small amount of batter onto your pan. Typically, what you're looking at is about a quarter of a cup is what you're looking for. Of course, you pour it on there, you get the size that you want. I like making mine just really big, and I just like eating 2 or 3 of them, just really huge ones. But of course, some people are making them smaller, like doing designs on different things like that. But getting it to where you want it. Now, one of the things that you're looking at is when cooking a pancake, is you're gonna start seeing bubbles coming up off the top. So it's gonna start bubbling on the top. So one side's gonna be cooking, the top part is still batter, still wet. It's gonna start bubbling up. Once all of those bubbles are pretty much gone, not pretty much gone, but once you see the majority of them start to pop, they're all gonna start popping at the same time. Once you see the majority of them start to pop, that's when you want to just go ahead and flip it over, because that's probably the perfect amount of time that it has on that side for it to cook all the way through. You're gonna go ahead and flip it over. Now you're gonna see it nice and light brown on one side. When you see that, what you're looking at for the other time, you're pretty much gonna want to time it at that point. I would say give it about 1-2 minutes, about a minute and a half really. On the other side, you can always lift it up just a little bit just to see if it's that same light brown on that side. If it's still too light, just put it back down. If it's burnt, then obviously take it off. One of the tricks that I like doing to make sure that it's cooked all the way through is getting a small toothpick. So you got a toothpick, you poke it right in the center. You pull out that toothpick. If any batter comes out that's still wet on that toothpick, then obviously you know that's not ready yet. But if it comes out dry and it's light brown on the bottom side, go ahead and take it off. Once you take it off, put it on a plate, put some butter on it, get it really nice and warm, and just cover it up. Just leave it warm while you're doing your next one. That's probably the best way that I could probably say, hey, this is how we're gonna do it. This is what we like to do. As far as for pancakes, it always works the best. Now, I know I went through it a little bit. We could have used a little bit more of everything that we could have had. I should have brought some show and tell, everything like that. You guys did catch me off guard today. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get in contact with her. I'm gonna leave my contact information for everybody here. Of course, I have it up on the projector. My name, my telephone number 214-916-0094. You can also contact me on Facebook, which is one of the preferred methods. My contact page is facebook.com/the UNT chef. Um, Also Twitter, which I'm always posting tips and little tidbits on there. Even cooking ideas, different things. What I'm going to actually going to do is going to have a workshop coming up on the right before Christmas, the week right before Christmas. I'll make sure to put a date on my Twitter and my Facebook, so just stay updated with that. We're gonna have a workshop where everybody's gonna be making Christmas pops, cake pops, but in the shapes of snowmen and snowflakes and different things like that. For everybody to come, you can bring your kids. We're gonna have just a whole entire lot of fun. All materials are included. You don't have to bring anything. You can maybe bring an apron or something so you won't get your clothes dirty. But besides that, we're not bringing anything. I mean, you don't have to bring anything. I'm providing all of it. It is a charitable event. If you'd like to donate to what's going to be Jude's Children's Hospital, then we can, we're accepting donations, but it's not required. Like I said, you don't have to bring anything. We're providing all the materials. Just go ahead and get in contact with me. Like I said, my name, telephone number, my email address, Facebook and Twitter. Facebook and Twitter probably the most place you can get updated with me. I update those daily, and I let people know what I'm doing, different ideas, different things like that. So if you're really interested, go ahead and get in contact with me. You can get in contact with me directly if you have maybe questions about what we did today, maybe questions about anything in the future, when the workshop is, anything like that. Just get in contact with me. I'll be happy to help you. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to spread the joy of cooking over the holidays to people. Sometimes there's families that don't have a whole lot of money to go out and do fun stuff. I mean, I like doing workshops for free just because we're all in the giving spirit. We're all in the giving mood. We want to be able to provide something to our kids. Say, hey, this is fun. We didn't have to pay for it. We didn't waste a lot of money. It means it just depends on where the drive's from, because it's going to be in Dallas, but it depends on where you're driving from. But it's going to be free for the family, free all ages. Bring the kids, bring the grandparents, bring everything. There's going to be room for about 50 people, so you guys are the first to know. So what I'm going to be doing is creating a list online of 50 slots, updating the list constantly when people sign up. So if you guys can just let me know, I say, hey, this is how many people I'm bringing, this is what's coming, that way I can make sure I have enough ingredients and everything like that. I don't want anybody left out. But thank you guys for your time. If you guys have any questions, just let me know right now. I know sometimes you guys are a little bit shy. Go ahead and just let me know. Maybe Facebook me, text me, message me, email me, anything. Go ahead and get in contact with me. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you guys.